Welcome to the Brain Factor Podcast with Joy and Laura, powered by Meridian Healthcare, approaching wellness with heart, one life at a time, one community at a time. This is a science-based conversation about real life. Our goal? To leave you with a few nuggets of wisdom, smile on your face, and maybe even a laugh or two. So let's jump in. Hi, welcome to the Brain Factor. I'm here today, Joy, your host or co-host, and Laura, another co-host. We're always here together, and we're so glad that you joined us today to talk about the one about your most important relationship. Ooh. Yeah, it's going to be good. So it's February, and a lot of people are thinking about, the Valentine's Day and all the red stuff and the hearts and the balloons, and that's all great, but we wanted to talk about what we think is really the most important relationship in your life. So you are the most important relationship in your entire life.
Yeah. And I think it's timely because yes, okay, Valentine's Day can be a lot of fun if you're in like a super healthy functional relationship, or you're 12, right?
Yes, 12 is really great with those little candy hearts.
It's not so fun, right? And it makes us think sometimes of what we're lacking versus what we have.
Yeah.
And we do overlook, but then we focus on other relationships, right? Yeah. We go, well, you know what? Like we'll do a Galentine's, we'll do, my friends, my this, my that, my other familial relationships, right? And I think we overlook the most important relationship.
Yes, because
which is with ourselves.
It's for life.
It is.
It is your lifetime. It is the only relationship that you will have from
guaranteed
the time,
to have.
Guaranteed, no ifs, ands, or buts about it from the moment you're born until the moment that you go to your final resting place. That's it. Just one relationship.
Wherever you
like
go,
that.
there you are.
Yeah. Now, some people could be around for that whole entire period of time, but you're guaranteed that you're going to be with you. So guess what? Better figure out how to love yourself.
Yeah.
How to care for yourself.
Well, and we overlook the fact that it's a relationship and that it functions the way that any other relationship works, right? Yeah. So relationships fluctuate. Relationships are sometimes smooth, sometimes they're not. They require effort. Yeah. They're attached to feelings, they're attached to action, and we overlook that all of that happens within ourselves, that it is very much a relationship, and it's not immune to those things that are happening in the relationships that we recognize a little bit more.
Yeah, for real. And you would never, so here's what I'm thinking, you would never, and I think we've said this on here before, you would never talk to your friends the way you self-talk to yourself. You would never treat your friends how you treat yourself. If you did, I think for the majority of us, we wouldn't have those friends anymore.
Right.
They'd be like, I am not dealing with you, because in my head, I'm talking to myself, oh, why did you do that? Why did you drop that? Why are you dumb? Why are you why did you
You're not going to be able
this?
to do that.
You can't. What are you even thinking about? No, you can't lose weight. You can't do this. Everything, and I'd have to always flip it back, try to stay on the positive side. Maybe treat yourself a little bit like you treat your friends.
Right.
Because I'd be like, no, Laura, what are you talking about? You're great.
And then sometimes I think when you said treat yourself a little bit like same or better than you treat your friends, right? I think for me, I know where that shows up is I've done, and like you said, we've talked about it before, right? Yeah. We've talked about self-talk. We've talked, all the stuff's connected, right? So we've talked about those concepts. And so on the front end, I do pretty good with that.
Oh yeah.
It's when it comes to grace and mercy.
Oh yeah, so true. That is
once
true.
I make a mistake,
That's true. Yeah, that's a very, very good point, because I am a confident person.
Right.
And I don't think I would have accomplished as much in my life if I didn't think that I could accomplish things and that I was confident with myself. But you hit the nail right on the head. It's when something goes wrong.
Yes. And the way I would never respond to a friend, I would never respond to you. If you made a mistake, I would genuinely, with every fiber of my being, believe it when I said nobody's perfect. Mistakes happen. It's not, the good outweighs the bad. Nobody cares. Nobody noticed. It's fine. I would do the same exact thing. And wow.
Beat yourself.
Worthless. Yeah.
Get out the ruler, crack your knuckles.
Yes, 10 lashings, done.
Yeah.
So that's where I struggle with the relationship. That's where my relationship with myself is toxic. is in the grace and mercy and forgiveness and allowances for being human and making mistakes.
Being human.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So some of the things we're going to talk about, and we've started already, self-relationship, that relationship that you have with yourself. Like Laura said, it actually is a relationship. It's, you just don't like show up and everything's great.
Right.
You have to, talk to yourself right, which brings us to self-talk. How you're speaking to yourself. What is your self-talk like? Yeah. Is it negative? Is it positive? I mean, if you're having a bad day, just try this. Like, oh man, this is a rotten day, and just start thinking about, wow, those flowers are so pretty, and I, had this success yesterday. Oh wow, you're really good. You're great. And all of a sudden you'll see that you'll start to change. Your mood will start to change.
I think where people struggle with this is this idea that you don't believe what you're saying, right? But when we think of it in the context of a relationship, right? How many times are you saying something encouraging to a friend and and they don't believe you?
All the time.
It's not really what, but you're like, no, for real. And you're like, so you're convincing your friend, you're encouraging them, you're adding those words in spaces where those words aren't occurring naturally.
Right.
All we're saying is do the exact same thing with yourself. It's a relationship that functions the same way.
Which leads us into self-compassion.
Yeah, that's that grace and mercy piece.
Which you pointed out so much. Like, give yourself a break.
Yeah.
You deserve a break.
Yeah.
You do. I mean, a couple months ago, we talked about all the effort. Yes. And how much effort goes into things. And then you mess up one little thing and you're like, oh my goodness, I failed. It's over. I'm terrible. Mm-hmm. But it's not. And hand in hand with that is self-awareness.
Yeah.
Thinking of, trying to really understand the things that you are good at, or maybe things that you need to learn how to do better if there's something, in that category.
Again, how many times okay, so I'm going to throw Joy under the bus.
Yeah, go ahead.
She doesn't know I'm doing this.
That was probably what we talked about on the phone on the way over here today.
No, it's about the plants.
Oh, okay.
So how many times do we know our friends are a certain way, or certain things are going to bother them, or certain things they like to have a certain way, right? And we're completely accepting of that. It's okay. It's fine, right? We were setting up today, and that we don't have our normal plants, and there was some alternative plants we could use, and Joy got a little bit of an eye twitch because they didn't match. And that's completely fine. So we have no plants, right? Because that's better than, and I don't care if the plants match, right? But it doesn't bother me if the plants match, if they don't match, if they're missing, right? So it's irrelevant for me. For Joy, it bothered her, so we went with what she needed. We know that about our friends. We're accepting about those things about our friends, right? We're not. How many times do we not even know? We don't even have the self-awareness to know this is actually what I need, and it doesn't have to make sense, and it doesn't have to be important to anyone else, but this is something that's going to bother me, so I need this.
Yeah, and I did. I was like,
we don't do it to ourselves.
I really like symmetry. I can't.
And you did that beautifully. You named it. You had the self-awareness to be like, this is something that I'm going to need in my space. And then it was responded to favorably. We've got to be able to do that with ourselves. We recognize it in other people. We respond to it in other people. But it starts with even just knowing yourself well enough to know what you need to be able to articulate it, you know, to put that effort in. So good job, Joy.
Well, thank you. Yay. Meanwhile, I'm thinking in my head before, I'm like, oh, God, I'm being such a pain.
No, not at all. Like, that's
our producer ran all over trying to get new plants and all kinds of stuff. It was being so nice, and I'm like, no, they don't match. We can't do it.
Can't do it. But that's self-awareness. You were missing the self-compassion piece. We'll work on that. That seems to be the hard. That's really rising to the top as the hardest thing.
Yeah, which goes into inner emotional boundaries.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, we'll skip that then.
We know we need it. We know we have to have it. Yeah. It's fine. We've talked about boundaries before. Oh my goodness, it's hard.
Yeah. So back to self-talk. Self-talk is linked, negative self-talk is linked to higher rates of stress and depression. I would assume anxiety as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and this all ties to the protective factors of self-regulation, identity development, emotional awareness, and it all starts with an internal connection.
Yeah.
that connection that you need to have with yourself. So what's your inner voice tell you?
It depends on the day, but I do think that, again, showing up the way we show up for other people, and actively participating in that relationship is the important part. So I think that it's harder to change the naturally occurring thoughts and the things that we say to ourselves, but we can consistently reframe them. And I think that's where the challenge, at least for me, lies, is taking the time to say, like, if I said something unintentionally unkind to someone, just fell out of my mouth, or it didn't sound the way I wanted it to sound, and I was like, oh, that's harsh, right? I would take the time to go back and re-say that, or to go, you know what, I don't think that
didn't come out right.
What I meant by that, I hope you understand what I meant by that, or, you know what, that was really insensitive. I heard it as soon as it came out of my mouth. Let me offer this instead. And we're not doing that to ourselves. And so I think that extra step is important.
Is there a time, I'll try and come up with one too, but like when your inner critic was super loud and you had to reframe?
Gosh, I think that's frequent, but if I'm trying to think of like a recent time, I think actually just this morning I was in a meeting, and it's like we get together virtually, and the whole team sort of shares what their week looks like, and any support that they might need from other staff, and blah, 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 blah. I had made a horrendous scheduling error that I caught. It's not for this week, it's for next week. That I was then going to need some support from the team to fill in some gaps, because I had like double and triple booked something that was very important. And the whole time I'm like, dreading sharing this. Almost didn't share it. Almost just said, I'll figure it out myself. I don't want people to think I'm incompetent. I don't want people to think like I should know better. I shouldn't have made this error, blah, 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 blah. They're going to think that I'm, no attention to detail, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I just made an error.
That's all it was.
How many times, this is what this meeting is for. And that's how I reframed it. This meeting is for laying out your week and asking for support. And I need support. So I shared it, and guess what I got? Support. I got exactly what I asked for. Hey, who can help with this? And I got a bunch of different solutions that I had not thought of all on my own. And so it ended up being a very positive experience, but that took a lot of effort, that like on my part, to just be like, okay, I'm going to be vulnerable here and give myself the grace and mercy I would give anyone else, because I would literally say, if somebody shared with me like,
I can cover that for you.
Right. And if somebody shared, why didn't you bring it up in the meeting? I would have jumped, everybody would have jumped in, I would have covered for you. So that's probably a most recent example for me.
Yeah. I had something a little bit similar in a work thing this morning, but I didn't go to a resolution with it. And probably what I should have said, because it was like, well, we need a decision on this. We need a decision on this. And they're saying, we don't have enough information to move forward. We can't make a decision. And I'm sitting there, and I should have said, I am also lacking that information. So I cannot give you a decision right now.
Right.
Yeah. But I didn't. So yours turned out much better.
But you thought about it. You reframed your thought.
Yes, I did reframe it, and I hopped off, and it didn't, we were on a virtual call as well, and it didn't ruin my day. I was already in the middle of doing the research so that I could make a decision, but I was self-aware.
Yeah.
And I knew, I'm not even going down this. I already know, I don't have all the information right now, so I cannot make a call at this moment.
Right.
But I will. So, yeah.
And when I do, it's going to be a great decision.
It's going to be a good decision. Yes. Yeah. So I believe, and you can tell me if I'm correct or not, that our brains respond to our internal criticism the same as they would as if you criticized me.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to this being your most important relationship, and maybe our lack of self-awareness about that, right?
Yeah.
So like we respond, like we might weigh people's opinions heavier than others,
Yeah.
but we are weighing our own opinion very heavy. We are the authority on ourselves, and part of our brain knows that. So when we start criticizing, it carries even more weight,
it sounds
arguably,
like,
than if you were to criticize me. You know, like that wouldn't feel very good, and with your criticism might come some other things like embarrassment and think that sort of overshadow the impact.
Yeah.
But the impact is going to be probably stronger when we're not believing in ourselves. And think about ways we see that show up. Like when someone genuinely believes in themselves and no one else does, but they have such a strong, they do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that's the core. That's the whole thing. That's what it's all about. You know?
Yeah. Not second guessing
Right.
yourself. Yeah. So I was trying to think about something that I say to myself all the time that I would never say to someone I care about. Like, you're stupid.
Like, that was dumb. Why did you say that?
That was dumb.
That was super
what
dumb.
What did you do
sound
that
like
for?
an idiot.
But I literally would never
Ever.
say that ever to anyone else.
Or, you know, we were talking about virtual meetings.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be like, damn, you looking rough. I pop up on the screen and I'm like, you look horrible.
Yes.
Like, you look exhausted. I would never say that to somebody else.
No. And you wouldn't even probably...
I wouldn't even think it half
You wouldn't
the
even
time.
think it?
Unless it was real bad.
Like it was, yeah, and you were seriously concerned, like,
Right.
hey, can I help you with something?
Or it wouldn't be a negative. I might go, oh, she looks tired today.
Yeah.
Can I take anything off your plate?
Yeah.
You know, I would be like a concern, not a like, you look ragged. You should turn your camera off, which is what I do when I do that to myself.
You turn your camera
Yeah,
off?
I'll just be like,
Well, you just turn that baby
me
off.
just-
Like,
ooh,
it depends how many
sorry.
people are on the meeting.
sorry, my camera's not connecting today. It's so weird.
It's so...
I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Teams is just odd today. Anybody else having trouble? So yeah, so those are the kinds of things I say to myself that I would never say to anybody else.
Yeah, so you have to build self-trust in yourself too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because any good relationship includes trust and safety. Trust and safety and communication.
Oh,
right.
True.
So those
Safety.
are the things
I
that
wasn't
we're
thinking
gonna
of
have
it
to
that
have
way,
that.
but that's absolutely right. I was thinking about consistency, or so you know what you're going to do
Well, that's what builds
over
safety.
time.
Though. That's
Yeah.
what builds safety in a relationship. You know, like I got me. You know, and that's an important thing. I mean, that's how we feel safe in other relationships, right? Their consistency
That is like
is what makes us
so
feel like, you got me.
mind-blowing right now. I got me.
Yeah.
Thinking about it that way, because a lot of times I do got me,
Right.
but
right.
I never think that. I'm just kind of muddling through or doing what I'm doing and not thinking, oh, I got me.
Well,
But I'll say to you, I got you. No worries. Don't worry. I got you.
Yep. And how there's so many thoughts I have about that right now. Like, how often is that perceived or presented as a negative, right? Like it's perceived as hyper independence, right? Or like I don't need anybody else, right? Like a negative. But that's not what we're saying with the I got me, right? And how many times do we excuse away the I got me, where we go, oh, I just work really good under pressure, or I'll pull it out at the last minute, but we're stressed about it, we feel anxiety, we're nervous, we don't really trust that we're going to actually get it done, and then at the last minute we end up pulling a rabbit out of the hat. And every time we treat it like an exception to the rule, when the rule is really I got me.
Instead of I got me. And I do this all the time. I've been
like,
doing
no, I can't
this.
believe I did that. Why? You do that every time. You know, why can you not believe it? Start believing it, you know? So I think that's an important thing.
That is a really important thing. So it was also she thinking about breaking promises. If I promise you something, or my daughter something, or my husband, or my friend, I'm probably going to follow through on that. And if I don't, there's going to be a whole conversation.
I'm going to
or
value
something,
the fact that I
and
promised that.
yeah. I break promises to myself like literally every day.
Yeah.
It's like almost every day.
And would you stay friends with somebody who consistently didn't keep their word with you?
Oh, probably not. No,
Probably not.
I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to do what you say you're going to do most of the time.
I've left jobs because of that.
Right.
It's like, sorry,
behind.
I need to know that what happened, what you say is going to happen is going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Or don't say it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's important.
So is which leads me to think about self-kindness and just being kind to yourself, but not pampering yourself, like self-care, not pampering yourself, but thinking about you're watering the plants and they're growing because
it's not an indulgence, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it is treated like an indulgence. And I think when we did an episode on self-care, and we talked about for those who may not have missed it or it's been a while, we talked about reactive and proactive self-care, right?
Yes.
And so like reactive self-care is like, oh, I'm stressed, oh, this thing happened, and like I'm going to take care of me. That seems to be very socially acceptable. But the proactive piece, I think, is the relationship building piece with yourself.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Yeah, that's the like, what am I just consistently doing for myself to keep myself in this place, to take care of myself proactively? And that type of self-care does get a bit of a bad rap as being like indulgent or unnecessary or like an extra if you have time, right? Versus really prioritizing pouring into yourself the way you would any relationship. So I think that's the difference for me.
Yeah. That sounds like it. I'm going through a tough time right now because we had a very significant loss in our family recently, and I'm trying my best to focus on my wellness.
Right.
And by doing that, it's a lot of, I always work out anyway. It's just been part of my life forever, but I'm really trying to make sure that I don't miss that I don't break that promise to myself, because it helps you mentally, physically, helps keep you moving.
Absolutely. That's that self-awareness. You know what you need. You're giving it to yourself. You might have to sacrifice other things or promise less to other people. Right?
Yeah.
Because the most important
huge.
Relationship
is the one with
yourself. Right?
So that is into like setting boundaries.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to talk about boundaries, though. You keep trying to trick me.
Okay, so let's skip that one for... Setting boundaries, it's a difficult one.
It is
In all of our relationships. I think especially like for me anyway, sometimes with kids or that type of thing, but definitely with myself. And I'm struggling with that right now because I'm like, no, you have to go do this fitness thing. This is your self-care that you're using right now to, help yourself.
I want to put a pin in that because I think that next time, I think let's talk about those self-expectations and rigidity, because I think that's where we're going to see boundaries more often than not.
Yeah, I think so. Allowing rest, letting yourself be
rest
imperfect.
You didn't have to earn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're still entitled to rest, even if you don't feel like you earned it. That's a thing. Yeah.
No, that is a big thing. That's a really good point too, because sometimes, I don't know, if you're gonna go, I almost never nap. But I'm going to go take a nap if someone would be like, oh, you're taking, I'm like, but I never do. Like, I clarified it before I said it to you.
Right.
I never nap.
But
But I did all this, and I went to the gym,
and then I
did the laundry, and I did this. Yeah, I earned this nap. And letting yourself be imperfect and speaking gently to yourself.
Yep.
Those are really important self-kindnesses that you afford to your friends, to your family. And you really need to...
It also helps prevent things like burnout.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think we're going to talk about that in the next episode,
fatigue,
too.
all of those things. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that with us, but like you shared about the personal loss in your family, right? Your risk has gone up now for things like burnout and compassion fatigue, and your capacity is lowered, right? So like you have to have those boundaries and let yourself be imperfect and do all of those things. You know, it becomes more important.
Yeah, just by saying that here, I've got like anxiety in my chest now because I didn't plan to say that and I said it.
Right.
And I'm like, oh crap, I was vulnerable.
Right. But again, that's a totally normal thing, right? The things that are going on in our life sometimes come out of our mouth, and that's a normal thing. So, but I think in building on that, when we talk about this idea of supporting people, right? That's come up a couple times as we've been talking today. Like, what does support look like when you're supporting yourself?
Oh, you want me to say something?
Because you know, you're the one that needs the support. Yeah. What does that look like when it's a self-reliance thing? Yeah. You know, for me, I think it's pulling back. Yeah. Whereas if I'm wanting support from you, I need more from you. Right. Right. Like, you know, there's sometimes. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't think about it from that angle.
Because, you know, sometimes like even just taking this podcast as an example, sometimes the workload in terms of like research or getting information for topics like falls more on one of us than the other because the other just doesn't have the capacity that week or whatever. So in those times when I'm like, I need support, I'm expecting something from you, more from you. Right. Right. But when I need support to support myself, I think I need less.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Less, give less. Yeah. Almost be less for a little bit. Yeah. And be okay with that. Yeah. You know?
I think that, well, you know, since we went down the rabbit hole, that just happened with us recently because you got back into town. I was like, hey, we've got to record. And I told you what happened in my family recently, and you were like, "Oh, I'll just."
I got you.
You did, and I was like, "Great,
yep,
that was wonderful." I didn't even have to ask for that. You just were like, "Oh, I'm just going to handle these."
Yeah, because we need something from someone, but what we need from ourselves.
But it did let me be less, or
it allowed you to support yourself.
It let me have some time. It supported what you were saying, how you need less when it's yourself.
Yeah.
So when you are giving that support to someone, you're letting them.
There's a balance. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's really interesting.
I think too that. Our relationship, and that's a good segue to this. Our relationship with ourself impacts every other relationship we have.
Absolutely.
Every other relationship we have, that bears repeating. Our relationship with ourself impacts every other relationship we have. Yeah. It is the foundation for the way we're going to relate to other people. Yeah. And recently, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine where you know she's going through a life transition and talking about like you know what do I bring to the table. Yeah. Right, as a friend, as a partner, as a parent, like what do I bring to the table? And we had this realization, like I am the table.
I am the table.
I am the table. Like, you want to know what I bring to the table? I am the table.
I am the table.
Right? Yeah. What are you bringing to me? And that mindset shift, that paradigm shift of like, again, all the things we've talked about already, the self-awareness and the boundaries and the self-talk and all of those things, tying it all in, like, you are the table. Yeah. Be a little more worried about what people are bringing to you. You know, and that changes.
That's a really great way to look at it.
The dynamics in our relationships, because then we have relationships. We're not seeking that outside validation, right? We're having relationships that we want to be in, not that we need in some way.
Well, the more
to fill gaps.
Yeah,
right.
Because the more you value yourself, if you have low self-esteem, low self-worth, treat yourself poorly, you're more likely to let other people do that to you because it's the normal.
Absolutely. All right. So what are some things we can do? What are some tools? Let's talk about tools.
Oh, so some tools. Let's see. Understand that your voice, your inner voice matters. That, you know, it's important. Listen to it. So self-trust is just practice. So you have to learn that.
Yeah.
Practice. Do it. Trust yourself.
Practice makes progress, not perfect.
Yeah. And understand that self-kindness, it's a strength. You're not blowing smoke.
Yeah.
It's true. Just be kind to yourself. And it's very much a strength if you can give yourself grace, if you can forgive yourself, if you can be kind to yourself.
Yep.
So what about you? What do you think?
One of the things in terms of like how to like tangibly how to do that, right? That recently came up actually with my own therapist was like, if we're being vulnerable today, I'll share, is this idea of a daily check-in. right? A self check-in. The same way particularly if we're going through something, like if a friend or a loved one is going through something, you're gonna check in with them. How are you doing today? What do you need today? Right? And saying, what do I need today, to yourself, right? And the way it was presented to me is she had said, like, what am I capable of today? Is the question that I'm asking myself in the morning, right? And capacity, right? Is looking at my capacity for the day, which is my resources, my emotional bandwidth, my time, my, all of that, right? My exhaustion level, any of that, right? Energy level, and then my readiness, right? That's the hormonal, emotional, mental piece, right? So, resources and readiness equals capacity. So what is my capacity today? What am I capable of? And then looking at that against the reality of my to-do list or my calendar for the day or whatever, and saying, okay, what has to get done? What, and then there's days where I'm just like, that there is a mismatch here. And that's not going to happen. All these things are not going to happen. So let me get in front of it and figure out how to readjust. And then there's other times where I'm like, that's it? Great. Let me add some of those other things I had to reject 2 days ago, right? And then we have a day where our capacity is better and we can catch up or get ahead, right? And so, but I think that there's such a value in that pulse check with yourself in the mornings.
Yeah, that's a really great tip there. So celebrating effort, not outcome. Like we had the episode a month or so ago about all the effort and focusing on the effort and counting the effort, because everything you do that goes into one little task, there's always all this lead up stuff. So think about the effort that went in and not just the outcome. Outcomes are important as well.
They are, but effort will lead you there.
Yeah, effort will.
You will get there eventually. Yeah. So we want you to go out into the world, loving yourself, taking care of that relationship the way that you take care of every relationship. It's not different. It's arguably more important. And so celebrate Valentine's Day with your favorite Valentine, you. And let us know in the comments what you thought of today and what are some things that you do to take care of yourself. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to The Brain Factor. Joy and I are so thrilled to be having these needed conversations. We'd love to hear your feedback on this episode, so if you could drop a comment or leave a review with your thoughts or any requests that you may have, it would be appreciated. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Living a healthier and happier life starts with one step, and we're excited to be on this journey with you. Until next time.